right, good morning, good peoples. Let's get into YBIT and BITO. This is the third in the series of Coney and Misty, the BTC buddies. Okay, so what happened? Wow, well, it's the only one that had trades. And what it did was it closed out all of these 719s. It was getting killed, right? Because let's go over what's taking place. So BTC via BITO went up 2.88 after being up 9.84 the day before, right? We're massively capped. We only went up 1.82 the day before. And yesterday we could manage about a third of the movement. So not quite as bad as the day before, but still pretty ugly. So what we have essentially is we took a loss on the ones we rolled out of, but honestly, they needed to do that. Bitcoin doesn't look like it wants to go down right now. So it's just further misery. So you roll it, you take your loss, and you go out a little bit higher. But part of the problem in trying to get yield, they went out to 24, 5, and 24. And again, Bitcoin may slow down and take a rest here at 66. Maybe it hangs around for 2 or 3 days. That would work perfectly. Uh, but they really have 8 trading days, right? All the way to 726. So we shall see. Um, because they're way underneath on their synthetic. It's still, look at this. So there were no trades, but this thing is 34, almost 35% below. Now, they did that for a reason. They did it so they could collect cash, and that part is really worked well, but they couldn't pay us all that cash because it's a massive paper loss that eventually has to be dealt with. Now, they rolled it one time out of a 36 to a 35 and did the same thing. So they're able to sustain it that way and pay us an 80% yield. But I want to get this fund where it has its own legs and it starts making its own money and doesn't need that big delta, right? So that's beginning to take shape here. So let's go look at these things again. So they took all these off the table. Well, needless to say, remember a negative number over here means positive cash. So we call it a credit and we track it as a negative number. When you see a negative number here, it means you're accumulating that cash. When you see a positive number, it means you've lost that cash, right? So lately, by going through all four of these transactions, and just look at it. So we sold 500 contracts at 35 cents. So we were collecting $17,500. Well, we came along and had to close it at $1.79. And what they did was needed to be done. I'm not faulting the fund managers. I'll call it like I see it. So that was a 21 strike price. Well, when they put it on, it was 4.5% out of the money. Well, considering we're 22.85, I would say it's been overrun. Hence, they had to pay 89, call it 90,000 on 18,000, right? So you take a $72,000 loss. Well, they get bigger. So what about the one at 1635? We collected 31 cents. We also paid $1.79. So that's 50,000 turned into close to 300,000. So you actually are losing this money, right? You already collected this amount, you bought it back, so this is your net gain or loss. So we lost, let's take them by the numbers. We lost, whoops, yeah, that was the first one, guys. 72,000, 241,000, 1,703,000, and 1 million, really call it 2 million. So that's close to 236, close to 400,000 or 400,000, 4 million. that we lost. It is, because look, we were at 2.4 positive, almost 2.5, and we ended up the scenario at 1.5 of a loss. So when you go from minus 2.5 to a positive 1.5, there's four numbers between that. So we lost 4 million. But again, we've been collecting a lot of cash in the other side. So then what did we do? Well, we knew that if we tried to write something out far for 3 days, we're not going to get any real cash. So they went out to 726, and they, hey, to their credit, and they did a little bit of that over here, right? This last one was a 20 and a half. And this 11,210 was the big loser, right? That's the one that cost them 1.7. And then on their 20.5, at least they laddered here. So they laddered again. They went 24.5 and they went 24. But you can see, even by going 8 days, when you go, the further you go, you don't get much income, 29 and 39. But hey, the week before, um, they got those kind of monies, although they didn't end up doing that well on those. Look at 712, right? The loss. So, they, well, I take it back. That was a gain. I take it back. So they won most of those, except, yeah, they did. They won the week before. Sometimes these things all run together. But anyway, on this scenario, let's kind of hope for YBIT scenario that Bitcoin stabilizes. I'm looking in the pre-market, and it's looking like BTC is 65, 135. So it's a little down from the 66 high that it had run to. Um, it actually, yeah, it's gone a little over 66 and it's 65, 135. But that's still a great place to be. That's a good number. I'm happy with that. So we collected back 700, 800,000, right? We had lost 4 million and we collected 800,000. So it was like a $3.2 million loss. I'll show you it all in that. It's still pretty good. So what did we do on our synthetics? We didn't put anything new on because nobody bought in, guys. So no shares were bought. I kind of wish they were, and we wrote some more synthetics. Um, but they weren't able to do that. You got to have cash coming into the account. So on the weekly, this is what it looks like. These are the new ones, right? So we took a 4 million hit and we're a little bit behind. Sometimes you expect it. So between when they wrote them and the close for the day, they're down 11%. I don't worry about that in the slightest with 8 trading days, right? So we'd have to buy it back at 921 versus the 824. So we collected 824,000. But look at where we are, right? These are 5% and 7%. Normally, I tell you 7% is decent, but when you have 8 trading days, but I get it. You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. They really can't get a lot more premium than what they're getting, right? I mean, they could write a 26 or something, but they're going to get, 11 cents or something. I'm not looking at the put call numbers, but just logic dictates that. So this, I didn't update the chart, but we're back in the middle, right? We're 2285. So between the 20 and 25 numbers here, we're back to the middle. And what did I say? There was a high probability when we got down here that we were going to bounce, and certainly we bounced. And the issue, like I mentioned before, is we can't keep up with BITO, because BITO is just reacting almost exclusively to what BTC is doing, and we're writing these covered calls. Now they're trading a little bit to generate their money. They buy future contracts on the CME of BTC, and they can roll in and roll out of front months and later months and so forth. And they do some spread swaps in there as well to produce some income. But I suspect their income's going to go down. That'll be really interesting. I think, well, they always declare right before YBIT does, but they tend to pay the same day and sometimes even a day later. But they always declare by the the last day of the month, like the 30th or 31st, worst case first, and we're declaring, I think, on the 6th. And we're somewhere in that 3, 4, 5 declaration day, with the payday following. But they're always the end of the month on BITO, which causes them to drop down, by the way, right? But it's been pretty substantial lately because BITO's been paying $1.50, $1.60, $1.70. But it also was a higher stock. Now that I mean, it's still not in YBIT's range. We're a $16 stock. And I expect, we're going to pay 80, 85% yield on that. And if BTC continues, YBIT will get better with this fresh week. But we don't want it to run by 8 days of trading again, right? We don't want to get killed on those. All right, let's take a look at holdings because this spells it out. Well, how's our synthetic doing? Better. But when you're writing a 35, yeah, they have to 8.2, but that's what, 20 days, 17 days, something like that. It should tell me over here. Yeah, 16 trading days. So when you're looking at this kind of stuff, sorry, I need to go to holdings. That's good though. I'll take it every day, right? 31 is certainly, did I update this? No, I didn't. But I updated all of these. So the 32 becomes 31 now, 31 2. So I'll update it. I'm not going to waste your time on it while I'm broadcasting. These are accurate. These are the new calls written. So, oh, I did see something I will change. They're now 26s, right? It's July 26th. Okay. So this isn't a big deal that they're down a little bit. It's just they put the trade on and the market continues and it changes a little bit. Here's our fair value, 1635 versus 1620. No shares added. Okay, so we're expensive 15 cents. All right, let's go look at what matters. So I put the loss on the synthetic. Now this 35, and we're trading at BITO's almost 23, is down to 31 from 37. So it's trending in the right direction. We've collected cash over these previous months. It's probably not enough to pay the 31 million, right? So our net income was 19, and we paid $1.21, which is about 3 million, 2.728. You can see that 1 million would be 2.4 million. So the fact that we paid $1.21, and in the previous month we paid $1.37, which is only about $1 million. So we've got some excess there, but not enough to really make that up. So I see us with this collection of money still looking pretty good. We still got $1.75. I mean, it came down because I had to adjust this value. Uh, but nothing so far on the synthetic. I don't see them doing anything until they get much closer to 8.2. I don't see them rolling that early because it's a form and an ability to collect money. Um, but anything, they can do anything they really want to do. So that's what I got for you guys. We're still on track to make some money, but I think it's good that they rolled it. I hate seeing these things just capped like that. Sometimes you got to bite the bullet and get uncapped. Take the loss and set yourself up for the next gain. And maybe it treads water or slightly up, and then you win on those weeklies, which is exactly how they're supposed to collect income. Okay, guys, Bruce out. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have a great day. I got AMSI coming for you, and I got Tesla coming for you. All right, bye for now.